this year, 2019, we're looking to launch the Tuk Tuk Adventure through Sri Lanka to raise money for the Foundation of Goodness. Now, this is following on from an event that we done last year. In 2018, we went over to Sri Lanka. There's 10 riders that went through Sri Lanka driving the tuk-tuks around. And tuk-tuk riding is a bit like go-karting but on steroids, so it's a huge amount of fun. And we had an absolute ball over there. We actually went and saw some of the venues that Foundation of Goodness have set up and the efforts that they're going through. And to start off, we'd like to show a bit of a video of just what Foundation of Goodness is all about.
My name is Jayani Vasundhara. At the Foundation of Goodness, I did a course in bakery and I achieved first place. I was lucky enough to make the initial team as an assistant chef when Shangri-La Colombo opened.
To secure a position at an international luxury hotel, Vasundhara needed more than just culinary expertise. Youth like Vasundhara, who come from provinces, have limited access to acquire such capabilities.
Talent in abundance, skills in plenty. It is so important to empower the rural disadvantaged communities. Unless we harness their potential, Sri Lanka can never be prosperous to the extent that we aspire it to be.
Established in 1999, the Foundation of Goodness has worked extensively. Following the 2004 tsunami that devastated the lives of thousands of Sri Lankans, to develop a one-of-a-kind, holistic rural community development model. Today, we deliver a wide range of programs to over 28,000 beneficiaries annually, from over 300 villages in the south, north and east of Sri Lanka, free of charge through our 30 empowerment activity sectors. Foundation of Goodness over a period of time has perfected creation and delivery of a unique mix of social development programs to build capacity of individuals and social capital of communities. Foundation of Goodness has been serving the communities it is reaching out by enabling individuals to become healthy, competitive, responsible, and socially conscious.
It is not just a one-time handout. It is not just give them something and that's good enough. It's always about building lives, building them, empowering them, making sure that families and communities keep progressing in society and in life. And that's the most important thing, I think, that the foundation achieves.
Disparity in regional development keeps opportunities away from children and youth in challenged communities. Gender gap in skills is greater in provincial communities. Foundation of Goodness launched Village Heartbeat Empowerment Centers to uplift the communities, which are derived of opportunities to connect with modern economy. Many of the programs offered at the Village Heartbeat Empowerment Centers are crucial for the development of women, children and youth and the whole community, giving them the opportunity to build their talents and gain more skills. The Foundation of Goodness has now established 10 Village Heartbeat Empowerment Centers in North, South, Eastern and the Central regions of the country.
Without only learning in terms of education, you have to inculcate very good values in them. So it is very important from the Foundation of Goodness standpoint that we instill good values for them to have a balance of both so that they can be absolutely productive, useful, intelligent, meaningful and wise children who become adults and guide our nation to prosperity.
Vijay Siri, a victim of the brutal Indian Ocean tsunami of 2004, realized his own ambition to win a medal at an international sports event at the 2016 South Asian Games.
I never thought I would one day compete in international swimming competitions. It is here at Foundation of Goodness I started swimming when I was a schoolboy. I started winning school-level tournaments and eventually won national championships in 6 consecutive years. I am also the first Sri Lankan athlete to participate in a triathlon event at the Asian Games.
The Sports Academy of Foundation of Goodness is a unique facility in Sri Lanka and elsewhere in the region. Sports Academy of Foundation of Goodness builds physical endurance and perseverance, mental concentration and stamina, and character of young people.
Sports gave a lot of character, a lot of discipline, winning and losing, how you take it. It gives you a lot of life lessons. Through sports, you could actually cultivate good values, discipline, and make them better people.
I think sport can unite people. War divided 2 races. Even after the war, the pain takes decades to heal. So how can you get this younger generation to mix with North and South? We suggested Murali Ahamani Cup that will play matches North schools versus South schools. We did for successfully 5 years and we connected a lot.
I think the Foundation of Goodness has built an unblemished track record and reputation on undertaking truly transformational projects. The fact that they have been so transparent in all of their transactions and the way they work with donors and the quality of reporting on those projects, monitoring and evaluating the outcomes and the outputs of those projects, I think certainly makes donors feel that their money has really gone to the people in need.
Starting at a tsunami-ravaged village in the west coast of Sri Lanka, Foundation of Goodness is now a social movement with an island-wide footprint. Every day, Foundation of Goodness illuminates the hope of thousands of children, youth and women, invigorates them to defeat challenges and build self-reliant and resilient lives. Energized by the sheer vastness of human goodness, depth of human compassion, and resilience of human spirit, Foundation of Goodness continues to fortify, one life at a time, to build a promising tomorrow for humanity. Foundation of Goodness, empowering rural lives for a better tomorrow.
Thank you. So, as you can see, one of the biggest questions I had when I first had a look at this group last year and said, well, why are we supporting a group over in Sri Lanka? And I think that video really gives you a good appreciation of the need there. And as one person once said to me, here in Australia we have a platform to support a lot of our less privileged people. We ensure our kids get schooling, we ensure there is a dole system on a lot of those platforms, and in some of these other countries they don't have that. And obviously the gap between poverty and normality is a little bit harder to bridge, and it's great for us to be able to support that effort. So without further ado, one of the big benefits of tonight is we've actually got a guest speaker in Mahela Jayawardene. So if he's around, come on up. Being a great cricketing fan, I had a look at part of your history and part of your abilities, and you're the biggest run scorer in Test history for a right-hand batsman.
I think, first of all, thank you very much for having me, and really privileged to be here this evening and supporting our foundation. I think the highest run scorer in a Test innings.
Correct.
For a right-hander, yes, I was lucky enough. The other 3 guys were all left-handers who were scored 400, and
there's 2 left-handers in front of you, but
yeah, exactly.
So you're on the top of it.
Yeah, hopefully someone will break that record and take it off me. So hopefully a Sri Lankan will do that.
Hopefully,
a bit tough, and I'm in Australia saying that, but I'm sorry. But
so, how many days did you actually bat for to score that many?
It was a partnership with my best mate Sangha, so we had a partnership of 624,
which is also a huge record.
So we both batted for nearly 2 and a bit more days against South Africa. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a long stint, and obviously you need to be mentally tough to get through those sort of situations.
At the same time, I think I have to be fair. The heat in Sri Lanka, about 35 degrees, didn't help the South African bowlers either. So once they got into that zone that, we just knew that they were tired, we just had to grind them out. So, and we were going to win a test match, so that was the main focus. We didn't realize that we'll break a record and be part of history, but those things you cannot plan. It just happens, and quite happy that be able to have a partnership rather than an individual record, because it's quite unique that you can't let your mate down as well at the same time.
Okay. And you obviously went on and won that game. There was a game earlier in your life, and I had a look at the score, and I'm still perplexed as to whether you got a result on that day. And it was in your earlier test match. I think you scored 66, but the team scored 954 or something. I'm thinking, it's a 5-day test match. How do you get a result when one team bats for so long?
No, that wasn't. We didn't want a result. We just wanted the Indians to be on the field for 3 days. Because that was my debut test match, so I didn't have an input in the conversation of the senior players. So Arjuna Rantunga and Arvinda De Silva, they just made the call, because Indians scored 687 batting 2 days. And it took us 2 days to overhaul that score. So we got to 700 on the 5th day morning or something like that. So there was no point us giving them another hit. So just to annoy them, we just thought we'll just bat the rest of the day. And got to 900, they were not very happy. And still to date, I think whenever I meet Rahul and Saurav and Sachin and all that, they still remind us that we couldn't keep you guys for 3 days. So they had a agenda driven that they need to keep us for 3 days for what we did to them.
You didn't have thoughts of trying to break the 1,000 that day? Well, it must have been going through their mind.
No, we could have easily. We stopped the game about 45 minutes to an hour before. We felt really sorry for the boys, and there was an opportunity. Don't get me wrong, there was an opportunity to go. But at the same time, the scoreboard would have been under pressure, because we have one of those old conventional scoreboards which only have 3 digits, don't have the 4th. So they would have been in trouble. It was an electronic one, real trouble. It was in 1997, so a long time ago, yes.
Yeah. Obviously, within cricket, there's a lot of sledging that happens on the cricket field. What's been some of the more humorous sledging that you've seen go on?
We've taken a code that we don't say it out in public. You cannot, certain things you cannot say that.
It's true, there's certain ones you can't say, but obviously there'd be some humorous ones that you could do.
Oh no, I mean there are a few on YouTube and stuff. I'm sure that you guys can check it out. But like Sangha was quite good at it, especially being the wicket keeper. He put Sean Pollock under a lot of pressure in one of those World Cup matches in Durban. We managed to win actually, because they got the calculations wrong. So now we know South Africans, they're not very good at maths. So he put him under a lot of pressure as the captain when he walked in about, the pressure and all that. They forgot that Duckworth-Lewis method is a par score, and you have to have +1 to actually win. And they blocked 3 balls after they got to that par score, and they lost the match to us. So yeah, those kind of things does, but like, to be honest, I mean, they've well said that banter should be, there's a line that you shouldn't be crossing, and I'm sure most of the times the boys do cross that line. So but it's all fun, and we do have a beer afterwards and try and make up after that.
Now, who would be the toughest bowler you've had to confront?
I think I've played amongst the generation that had some amazing bowlers, I have to be honest, and all of them are in the top 10 ranked bowlers in world cricket, to McGrath, to Warney, Wasim Akram, and all those guys. But for me, personally, I felt that Wasim Akram was something special. For a right-hander, it's always tough when you have a left-arm bowler coming in, but this guy could actually work you out inside, in the sense that he had skills that he could execute at any given time with the new ball and the old ball, and had a good bouncer, Yorker, and he had a very aggressive banter along the way as well. I remember one of my third or fourth test, and Wasim hadn't even taken a hat-trick for 10 years. And against Sri Lanka, he took 2 hat-tricks in the same test match, first innings and second innings.
Quite unique.
And I was part of that hat-trick as well. The first innings is a great story. So I knew he's going to bring the ball back in with the new balls. I was batting at number 3. I've adjusted everything I possibly could, but still he managed to get through my defenses and got LBW. I knew as soon as I hit my pad, I was dead. I didn't even look at the umpire, I just walked off. And I was only 21 at that time. So the second innings, I walked in again to another hat-trick. Now, not a hat-trick, it was just like, guy has gotten out, so I'm the second one in. And I said to myself, I'm not going to let him hit my pad now. Again, the new ball. So I've opened myself up completely, and I said, I'm not going to get my pad along the way, I'm just going to play with my bat. And what he did was, he actually, rather than bring the ball back into me, he took it away from me, and I pushed at it and caught second slip. And I looked like, I was like so devastated, and he really played me out in this. And the worst thing is that, so after the game, we lost the match, and we were shaking hands, and he came to me and said, young man, don't worry, you'll learn. So yeah, right, I should have known that. But it was fun. Even now when you talk to him about how he went about executing his skill, it was something special, and there are a lot of young kids who could learn from that. So for me personally, even though it was his latter part of his career, for me, skill-wise, he was something special.
Okay. Doing a bit of research and background on you, there's some videos that had you compared to Ricky Ponting from Australia in comparison to your career compared to his. And I thought it was a very interesting comparison. How do you feel being, compared to Ricky Ponting?
I wish I was compared to his golf skills, because he's a much better golfer than me, but...
what about punting?
No, definitely he's one of the best players that we've played against during our time, and a very tough competitor, to be honest. And he had that winning mentality, wanted to win matches and tournaments and World Cups, and that shows that the Australian team who won that 3 World Cups. So yeah, I'm flattered that if compared, but obviously our batting skills were quite different to one another, because we were brought up in different surfaces. Australia and Sri Lanka is completely different. But, we always try to challenge ourselves in try and, be best what we can do. So, yeah, I don't know how good that comparison is, but, I'm quite flattered.
And what country did you find the hardest to travel to and play on different surfaces?
I think skill-wise, I think, the England conditions can be challenging, especially if, they always bring us early summer, April, May, and then put up in North, in Durham and Leeds, so that even the English cricketers don't want to play cricket during that time, let alone Sri Lankans. So we need to have 4 layers of clothing just before we go out. So our fast bowlers, come down 10 kilometers an hour straight away, because they can't get over those 4 layers to bowl first. Those conditions very tough, and I think anyone wherever in the world will find it tough. And I think on a lighter note, I think that the other toughest place to play is West Indies, because they don't take anything serious. From the time you land and the time you come off West Indies, it's all a party. The cricket is a party. The breakfast is a party. I firmly believe that, they don't have morning tea. They have rum for breakfast because they're that easy going. So to keep your discipline and concentration in the Caribbean is another thing that you have to really be focused on.
Okay. Now, one of the biggest challenges within sport is just being able to maintain your mental health and focus. Over such a long career, how have you managed to maintain that and thrive in that space?
I think it's not easy purely because of the modern day cricket. It's very tough. Social media and various other things. Everyone seems to know how to play and how to bowl and how to bat. So for me, I think I had a great advice when I was a youngster. I don't know how many people know about Barry Richards. He was probably the best player that South Africa has ever produced, who probably didn't get a chance to play much cricket because of the apartheid. But he came as a consultant for Sri Lankan cricket for about 2 weeks and later on again. And I just joined the team and we had these one-on-one conversations, and he told me something which at that time it didn't really hit me. Took me some time to get through my processes and say, okay, this is how I should be doing it. But he said to control what you can control. And for me, that has helped in cricket as well as off field as well. So literally on a very lighter note, he was telling me that you cannot control the weather, you cannot control the pitch conditions, you cannot control the abusing fans, you cannot control the media. But what you can control as a cricketer is to prepare for the conditions, prepare for the fans, prepare for the media. And if you don't want to see in the news, you don't have to read a newspaper, you don't have to switch on your television channel. You can block everything out. So it's within your control to block everything. So that's on a lighter note. But if you actually go through the processes and say that, as a cricketer, everyone, as a sportsman, you put expectations in your performances. You want to achieve something. You want to get to somewhere. The more you do that, the more pressure you put on yourself. That is what holds you back, basically. So if you don't think about the end result and work on the moment and the processes and control that and that preparation and that mindset, you will get to that result, whatever it can be. But if you're just thinking that this is what I want to get 100 or I want to get a double 100 on that day, you're actually putting pressure on yourself. So expectations equals pressure. That's as simple as that. So if you can control that, and that's how you control your mindset and go through the processes and execute things. And it has helped in life as well, because I realized that, if it's time management, it's about little things in life. So if you can control those things, it becomes a much easier path, because otherwise it's stressful. You're going through different phases in life and all that. So if you manage to do that, the best way that you know how to do it, and it's within your control. So it was 3 little words, but it has a huge meaning attached to that.
Great answer. Now, taking a little bit of a different turn here, there's a question that was asked of you at one point as to the Sri Lankan symbol. How many eyes is there on the Sri Lankan symbol? Where did you get asked that question? And can you remember?
No.
You can't remember it?
No.
It was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yes.
All right. I think it was the $1 million question. Do you know what the answer was, or can you remember the answer? Was it too much of a pressure cooker being on?
It was a pressure cooker because it was me and Sangha together.
Correct.
And when you put me and Sangha together, there's always an argument. And we had to go through a lot. And I think we ended up winning that comp. We did give the right answer. And I think it was just one eye on the symbol. But we went through heaps of things, because with Sangha, he always complicates things, so you just have to...
Lucky you had Sangha there to answer that question, because it was actually 4.
No, but that was because of the
There's one on the
all
line.
online, yes.
There's one on the moon, and there's two on the sun.
That's correct, yes.
So
we went through a long time to answer that, yeah.
yes. Now, actually, you'd done that show for a certain charity event.
Yes.
And the charity was the Foundation of Goodness. And obviously, Foundation of Goodness holds a special place in your heart. Can you tell us why that is and what benefit the Foundation does for Sri Lanka?
Yeah, I think the story is obviously everyone saw that. For me personally, I was involved with the foundation since 1999, 2000. That's when I used to go there and contribute schools equipment for kids. I wasn't a trustee till 2006 because I had a different foundation which was very close to my heart, which is a cancer project. So I needed to finish what I've started. And I had to make a decision, can I do both at the same time? So in 2006 was the year that I decided that I need to help Kushil, who I still believe is a saint, and he rides in a different wavelength than all of us, and we're trying to get to there. But with Murali is an amazing person. I think he's probably one of the best people that you could come across, a great friend, and one of those honest guys. He walked with us to the previous president's office, and he just, to his face, said, "You are wrong." And Sangha and I looked at each other and said, "Oops, we're in trouble now." And this guy, that's him. If he says, "You're wrong, you're doing things wrong," and he went to the president and said straight to his face. So that's Murali. So to partner Murali and Kushal was a no-brainer for us, and why it's close to us and over the years is that it actually helps that grassroots levels in Sri Lanka and different ways. And for me, every project that we've done so far has made a difference. Our concept is to try and help one person. We are not looking at a bigger picture. Yes, over the years we've helped a lot of people, but it's about making a difference to one person. The Women Empowerment Project, for me, is something amazing in Sri Lanka, which we managed to change the culture of how people look at women. Sri Lanka, one thing is our education system is very, very good. Everyone gets educated. The literacy level is in 95 range, which is amazing. But soon as they finish their preliminary education, you get married, you have kids, that's your job. But we feel that's not their job. We feel that, especially in the outskirts, that they can contribute to the family ecosystem, they can contribute to the society in a much better way, but without taking them away from that family environment. So what we've done is that given them skills through our Heartbeat project and help them to start their own little businesses from home, and they make a huge difference then. And one thing that they earn is respect. That's something that we feel that they are very proud of, and at the same time, their children, especially if it's a girl, they look up to the mother, and then they get more focused and grow to be much more independent going forward. So that's one little aspect that we've managed to make a difference, and with the kids and various other projects, we've managed to change people's lives. And like you rightly said, Sri Lanka is a country with opportunities, but at the same time, we don't have the resources and we don't have the funding to help these people. So we are trying our level best to give that opportunity for them and make a difference. And we're coming up to our 20th year anniversary in a couple of weeks' time, and very proud of what Kushil has achieved over the years, and his team, who are all volunteers, and a lot of people come overseas and work voluntarily for us. And for all those people who had worked for so many years, and especially guys like Peter and them, I'm sure the Tuk Tuk ride is good fun. Hopefully I manage to join you guys in next venture, because I've heard a lot of good stories from the last trip. And yeah, no, that's what Foundation of Goodness is about changing lives, changing little things, and makes a difference.
Fantastic. And we'd love to have you along for the Tuk Tuk ride.
I've told you my Tuk Tuk riding is not that good, but I'll be on the back seat.
Just talk to Dwayne, the cameraman, there. I'm sure he'll say you can join in with me without any hassles. So there you go. You're in good company then. That's fantastic. Thank you very much for coming out here today and sharing some of your time and sharing all those stories with you. We look forward to seeing you on the Tuk Tuk ride and joining us for some of that journey. And, just to give you an idea, we're looking to try and get 50 riders this year, each rider raising $5,000 in money, which will be a total of around $250,000. So obviously that's going to have a big impact upon the Foundation of Goodness.
It's going to have a huge impact. I mean, one of the events that I attended last night was the LBW Trust, which is associated with the New South Wales Cricket. So their primary focus is higher education for underprivileged graduates. And they've helped us with 275 graduates over the last 5 years. And these kids, they are from really poor backgrounds and they get higher education. If they want to even go and do a master's on special scholarships, they get that opportunity through that. So I think the money that we're going to raise is going to make a huge difference. I know you guys have already got one of the heartbeat projects going in Sri Lanka, as well as the water purification project. So it's going to make a huge difference, and that's a lot of money if we can do that. And I wish each and everyone all the very best, and hopefully you get the 50 going. That'll be a huge achievement.
It will be. So let's have a look at the next video that we'd like to show you, which is a bit of a clip of the 2018 Tuk Tuk Adventure.
It's the most glorious country. The scenery is just divine.
The richness of Sri Lanka, it's just got such a beautiful scenery and landscape.
Monaragla is a very beautiful place, and the sad thing is that in this beautiful place there's so much poverty in there.
Huge contrast between the land, which is so rich, and then the people that are so poor.
And that's the irony for that. These people are so giving, so kind, and they need our help.
Every time we pass people, we hoot at them and they just smile and wave back.
This is more than a tuk-tuk ride. Showing Sri Lanka, the hospitality of Sri Lankans to my fellow tuk-tuk riders while doing good. When you see these beautiful kids appreciating what little they've got, you know, a little library in a couple of shelves in a room with a few books, they call it their library.
If you talk Tanushi, that's enough.
Seeing those kids talk to you and know that what you're doing makes a real difference, it makes you feel very emotional, but makes you feel very humble.
Their eyes are dancing with life, and they've got so much hope, you know, in their energy.
What do you like to learn best at school? I like to English.
What we find is that the kids there are looking for opportunities where they can break the poverty cycle. And we are here to support them in that journey.
It was really touching to see some young children talking about their dreams and goals and how they want to become doctors and engineers. And
We should have an ambition.
And really the only way that they've got a chance to get there is through people like us.
Helping them and empowering them to find a way to break the poverty cycle. Now they've got all the tools they need to go out and achieve their dreams.
The best thing to me was actually seeing those beautiful faces talking, you know, and talking and sharing their values.
Thank you.
It's about empowering these kids, youth and the women who have that ability to make better progress given that opportunity.
My whole life changed, my education, my family and my positions and my feelings also. It's a dream for me. Draw a bucket.
When I see these kids now making that kind of progress, I'll tell you, it is priceless. That is something money cannot buy. Your heart is rich and overflowing with joy that is incomparable to anything else.
Was so inspiring, absolutely inspiring.
I would never have thought to have come to Sri Lanka. I never would have thought to bring go with a bunch of business owners going 1,000 kilometres around Sri Lanka on a tuk-tuk and we're solving the same sort of problems. It's like a little mastermind.
An amazing group of people that they're all on the same page and they are just the most wonderful people that you connect with really from the heart.
There's no better way than to actually go and see where the money's going and what difference you're actually making.
So that they have choices in their lives that you and I tend to have in the Western world.
Since gratitude is the best attitude, I want to thank the OYOB Tuk Tuk riders. I hope many others will follow this example to make a difference in other people's lives in desperate circumstances.
Tuk Tuk ride, so anyone who would like to participate, there's some simple rules. You need to pay your own way because most of the money we raise will actually go to the charity, and you need to be able to raise $5,000 for the charity. So there'll be a lot of support given to you in helping you raise the funds through a number of different mediums, and obviously there's a lot of fun. It's a great way of actually having a holiday that you will not get at a travel agency, because actually driving tuk-tuks and learning how to get around a different country is an experience in its own right and a huge benefit. We found that last year many people brought their families and had a family holiday, which was sensational. People connected with their mothers or brought some other family members along and just had a great time and a great experience. Not only do you get to see the countryside and a lot of the great attributes of Sri Lanka, but you also get to see the work that Kushal and the charity does with a lot of the work for the kids. So we encourage you to look at joining in. A shared experience is what we call it, and enjoy part of the tour for 2019. All right, so there will be some registration forms out there. For those that the dates don't work or they can't participate, if you feel like you'd love to give a donation towards the effort, there's some forms for being able to give a donation. Mahela will be available at the back of the room, where we've set up a bit of a screen there that looks like the MCG with a couple of props. So if you'd like to get a photo with him doing some funny prompting with cricket bats and hats and everything, you can do that during our lunch break or dinner break. So thank you all for listening. Hope you've enjoyed that session. Hope you find the courage to participate and join us in the 2019 Tuk Tuk Adventure.